This is a crisis communication case study for the 2014 Sony hacking scandal presented by the Firefighters Strategic Public Relations Team, Troy Jones, Michelle Susan, Hanifa Bost, and Jabari Arnold. As the internet takes over public interest and companies acclimate to new and changing conditions where every scandal, no matter how small, could fuel social sentimentality, it becomes all the more important to review security systems and keep them up to date. In the event that the systems in place are compromised, it is imperative to create an adequate plan to deal with any potential leaks that may happen, because as PR professional Dee Breckenridge states, as a communications professional, you should be thinking proactively about the possible levels of crisis escalation long before an issue arises. The ability to deal with potential crisis of this nature means staying ahead of the game, and like fighting a virus by taking a vaccine, it is important to be proactive. Crises are bound to happen, and they frequently do. The contents of this presentation will consist of 5 parts: the case study background, cybersecurity background, crisis summary, and crisis management. Sony Pictures Entertainment Incorporated is the American subsidiary of Tokyo-based Sony Corporation. Sony's global operations include motion picture and television acquisition and distribution, television networks, and studio facilities. Sony's mission is to be a company that inspires and fulfills the viewer's curiosity. Their unlimited passion for technology, content, and services, and relentless pursuit of innovation drives them to deliver groundbreaking new excitement and entertainment in ways that only Sony can. Even largely successful companies like Sony are at risk for a cybersecurity breach. Cybersecurity is the body of technologies, processes, and practices designed to protect networks, computers, programs, and data from attack, damage, or unauthorized access. Cybersecurity is a problematic field that is always evolving. The traditional approach has been to secure large components holding a significant amount of data while leaving smaller components undefended. This approach has led to many becoming victims of cybercrimes, such as the 2014 Sony hacking scandal. On Monday, November 24, 2014, Sony experienced a significant system disruption that was determined to be the result of a bold cyber attack. SPE was hacked by a group of individuals who called themselves the Guardians of Peace, or GOP for short. The scandal began by the GOP leaking 5 major motion pictures, the most damaging being Fury, which was downloaded 1.2 million times within 3 days of the initial leak. The leaks were deemed to be the result of inaccurate cybersecurities in place. Following the film leaks, the GOP posted an image of a skeleton on all Sony computers saying, "Hacked by #GOP," then threatened to release secrets and top secrets. This was the beginning to the Sony hacking crisis. The GOP began to release threatening information, such as personal information about Sony Pictures employees and their families, emails between employees, executive salary information, and copies of unreleased Sony films, to name a few. The GOP hacking was so detrimental, it was believed to be the worst attack of its kind on U.S. soil. Sony suffered through this security breach as confidential documents and personal emails were published, exposing unethical behavior about executives. Sony could never have guessed that a breach in their cybersecurity system could result in so much damage. As executives played the course of events in their minds, the crisis proved that they lacked adequate planning in their crisis communication strategy. The actions executives took, or lack thereof, caused one problem to result in many more. Some of Sony's PR mistakes included lack of transparency. When Amy Pascal, previous head chairperson of Sony, eventually spoke to the public regarding a leaked email, she did apologize and redirected the controversy by stating it was a crime of identity theft, an attempt on censorship. The problem was that Amy waited days to talk to the media, and people like transparency. Lack of sincerity and missed opportunities on social media. Sony's Facebook page displayed promotional and positive posts, while the public posted comments that continued to grow about the hacking. There was so much information leaked during this crisis, it was important for Sony to be on social media 24/7 and apologize to the public for any offending messages that the media was portraying. Lack of consistency and not enough messages on what was being done to solve the crisis. Sony did hold meetings to inform employees of the crisis and posted links for employees and former employees on their internal website. However, Sony didn't update the media or general public with press releases regarding what was happening internally. According to Breckenridge, when a calamity strikes at a company, reputation and crisis management become a priority. The executives should immediately call in the PR team to identify and neutralize the situation by creating an appropriate response to the public outcry. This is when Sony hired our team, Firefighter Strategic Public Relations. Our team reviewed and discussed the timeline of events with Sony and realized Sony should have been more professional by displaying greater ethical behavior and doing the following: respond to the situation immediately from a top company official like the CEO. D. Breckenridge states, it's better to prevent the situation or manage it by lessening the severity with a response immediately addressing the issue at hand. Make amends by admitting to their mistakes and apologizing to any who could have been offended. Have a social media crisis plan with a team member ready to monitor the internet and respond 24/7. In addition, they should have created a centralized formal discussion platform because trying to respond to every comment and blog post is almost impossible. Reframe the controversy by turning detractors into evangelists that support Sony. Loyal stakeholders will appreciate the timely responses and would most likely be more forgiving. Seek resolution by informing employees, the news media, and consumers the actions Sony is taking to make sure this will never happen again. Our team will help Sony move forward by creating a crisis contingency plan with specific actions to be taken, so they are prepared for any future crisis. Since communications between internal stakeholders and the public would generally be different, contingency plans will include internal and external versions with FAQs, a press release template with a distribution plan, and social media standards to consistently address fans and influencers. In addition to these actions, we feel that the following steps need to be taken. Step 1. Pre-planning and crisis prevention means that Sony should already have a plan of action set in place. A crisis is bound to happen, as it did, therefore planning is everything. Managing at critical mass means being prepared to manage the crisis at its peak. Many companies like Sony have cybersecurity and contingency plans set in place. However, those plans are likely ready for a simple breach, not a massive one. An important part of contingency planning is reincorporating lessons learned, which is something our team pride ourselves on. Each crisis we come across will be different in its own way and will have different strategies to fixing the problem. It is extremely important to incorporate lessons learned into future solutions. Furthermore, no one could have expected a breach in security as large as the Sony GOP hacking. However, companies must always expect the unexpected. Industry analysts and insiders told The Wrap magazine after the hack of Sony Pictures Entertainment, Hollywood is an industry culture mixed with fear, ambivalence, and shattered illusions of privacy. The Sony hacking changed the way Hollywood and other businesses conduct business and secure their servers. In conclusion, from small companies to large corporations, most business is conducted online. Therefore, it is essential to invest in a cybersecurity system and create a crisis management plan to avoid disaster as much as possible. Thank you for watching this presentation.